Then your second question, if I understand correctly, is very specific. It's about developing a particular skill and around a goal of being able to play a song and to improvise over the chords in an entire song.
Yeah, and yeah, just to be able to make up a solo that sounds like something that might be I could play in public and be able to jam with people is ultimately even record some stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one approach that we can learn songs in a deeper way than we learn them as classical musicians. I'm going to use a Suzuki song actually to start. So this is in Suzuki Book One, and it sounds like this. One of those approaches involves learning harmony. And I think that we underestimate how much is involved in learning harmony. This has been a really fun activity for me that I've even done with my kids when I've gone through the Suzuki repertoire with them. I didn't know what the chords were because growing up as a classical musician, I was proud of my ears and how much I could hear. But I realized that I could only hear melodies and only certain types of melodies. So I had to backstep a little bit and say, let me really try to understand the harmony on songs. You can listen to it and try to figure it out, or you can like actually look at the piano score. And for other songs, there might be an existing chord chart somewhere, but I'll just give you the ones in this one. So it's G major, D, G, and then D, G, D, and then G, D, D. And then we have E minor, A7, D. So I might take a progression like that and just say, wait, I want to really break it down. And I've got chord stacks that I give to people, visual aids and stuff like that that can help this problem. But there's so much we can do with just the first two chords, G and D, right? So first of all, we learn the chords, G, which that takes some time. And we learn D, and then we want to work on voice leading the two chords together. So G, D, G, D, G. And we can just drill that in so many ways. So first of all, I could expand it to make it twice as long. So twice as long on the G, D, G, D. And then I could make it a little looser. Right. And the bottom line is that I think that most people tend to estimate how hard this is. They underestimate it. But if we work on a pairing like this, G to D, 1 to 5, one major to five, the dominant, the 5/7 chord. If we work on it, it will have compounding benefits. Like it'll last forever if we take enough time to work. I would also practice then accompanying someone else. And if you're a teacher, which I know you are, then you can actually just work on this from an accompanimental standpoint. And that's what I did with my kids. Like when they were growing up, I would always challenge myself to accompanying them in different ways. First, starting off with the simplest way, but then eventually I would make it more interesting for myself and just try to challenge myself while I'm teaching. Right. And so my kids are practicing and I'm just practicing right along with them because I'm trying to challenge myself. So if you can make it more of a game like that, then I think we can enjoy the process more and learn it more thoroughly. And then in theory, once we really know these chord progressions, we can start to apply it with longer progressions, add more and more chords because it's always a transition between two chords. I will say one other thing, which is that we can practice making melodies that go outside the chord as well. So I'm landing on chord tones, but I'm slowly trying to feel my way around to find other notes that go outside of the chord tones, these kinds of things. So, how does any of that strike you? Does that feel at all helpful, or do you feel like you already knew all those things?
It's very helpful. I didn't know those things on a level, but I've underestimated the difficulty of just doing 1 and 5 in D major or G major.
Yeah.
And I've actually experienced underestimating it in practical terms with jamming with some people playing some folk tunes and just going, "No, this is just 3 chords. Come on."
Sure.
I get losing it in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Guitar players and piano players do have some advantages, like shapes that repeat or a grid in the form of the piano that's just so laid out so logically. And so
Mm.
for us on bowed strings, there's definitely a little more work that has to go in. But the advantage of that, I would say, is that once we do put in that work, it sticks a little harder. And the other caveat I want to offer is that there are some situations, musical situations, where we don't need to know the chords as well. Like we can just get by using a scale or whatever. And as from a lot of the classes that I do at the academy, where it's kind of like we do
Mhm.
drills where we're just working on scales. And that is easier. And I think it's good to mix up our practice with things that are a little harder and things a little easier. Is there anything that you would like for me to share with folks about you to I know you're in Scotland, you're teaching, or you yeah, anything you want me to share with people to help find you or anything else you can add? Or you're
Yeah.
good. That's
But
fine too.
I think that's really helpful. I think and also what's another takeaway from that is I'm excited I feel I got more of a handle on how to share these things with pupils and some of the groups, string groups and individual pupils, where this is very unfamiliar to them,
Right.
and I feel I got more of a handle on how to get going and get started with it
That's
in
awesome.
a more practical way.
Thanks for doing this experiment with me with the new format of the podcast. Thanks for being a member of the Academy and coming to our camp in Switzerland. And for everybody that's listening, I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Electric Violin Shop. They are my trusted resource for all things electric strings. You can call them at their website, electricviolinshop.com, and speak to a human during business hours, whether it's accessories, electric violins, really anything that has to do with amplifying bowed strings. And also, if you're listening, just be aware that the podcast, as well as all of our other programs through Creative Strings, there are lots of ways that we can serve you. You can join our Zoom classes every month and get supported from me in your growth. You can come to our camps. Teachers can get training and join with our method. So lots of opportunities. Phil, thanks for being here.
And I highly recommend anyone interested to attend the Zoom classes and or the in-person workshops.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.